Listen carefully. This is not just another message scrolling past your screen. This is not coincidence. This is not random. If you are here right now, reading these exact words at this exact moment, something deeper is already moving in your life. Something unseen. Something powerful. Something that has been quietly aligning behind the scenes for far longer than you realize. There are moments in life when everything feels still. When nothing seems to change, when days blend into nights and nights feel heavier than ever. You question yourself. You question your path. You wonder if anything you are doing even matters. You look around and see others moving ahead while you feel stuck, unnoticed, forgotten. But what if I told you that those silent moments were never empty? What if those delays were not denials, but preparation? Right now, there is a shift happening. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Right now. And the reason you feel this strange pull, the reason you suddenly felt the urge to stop and watch, is because your spirit already senses it. Deep down, you know something is about to change. Check the time. Not just on your phone, but in your life. There is a divine timing that governs everything. Every delay you've experienced. Every door that refused to open. Every person who walked away. Every opportunity that slipped through your fingers. None of it was wasted. None of it was meaningless. It was all part of a setup. A preparation phase. Shaping you into the person who can handle what is coming next. Because what is coming next is bigger than what you lost. Let that sink in. You thought you were losing. But you were actually being redirected. You thought you were falling behind. But you were being protected from something that wasn't meant for you. You thought people leaving your life was rejection. But it was actually divine removal. And now, the shift begins. You might not see it immediately. It might not come with fireworks or loud announcements. Sometimes the biggest changes start quietly. Like a whisper. Like a subtle change in direction. Like a small opportunity that feels different. That feels aligned. Pay attention to those moments. Because your destiny does not always knock loudly. Sometimes it calls softly. And only those who are aware can hear it. Check the time again. There are patterns in your life that are about to break. Cycles that have been repeating. Struggles that have felt endless. Doors that have remained closed. They are about to shift. But here is the truth most people don't realize. The shift does not begin outside of you. It begins within you. Your mindset. Your belief. Your awareness. That is where the change starts. For too long, you may have doubted yourself. You may have listened to voices that told you you're not enough. That you're too late. That your time has passed. But those voices were never yours. They were distractions. They were noise meant to keep you small. to keep you stuck, to keep you from stepping into what was always meant for you. But now, something inside you is waking up. You can feel it, can't you? That restlessness, that discomfort, that feeling that you cannot stay the same anymore. That is not anxiety. That is not confusion. That is transformation. And transformation is never comfortable. It forces you to let go of who you were, to release old habits, old beliefs, old attachments, even people who no longer align with your future. It asks you to step into uncertainty, to trust without proof, to move without knowing exactly how everything will unfold. And that's where most people stop. They hesitate. They doubt. They go back to what feels familiar. Even if it's painful. Even if it's limiting. But you are not here to go back. You are here because you are ready. Ready to rise. Ready to shift. Ready to step into a version of yourself that you've only glimpsed in your dreams. Check the time. There are moments in life when everything changes in an instant. A single decision. A single opportunity. A single realization. And suddenly, nothing is the same anymore. You step into a new reality. A new level. A new path. And those moments don't come randomly. They come when you are aligned. Aligned with your purpose. Aligned with your truth. Aligned with the version of yourself that is no longer willing to settle. No longer willing to stay small. No longer willing to live a life that does not reflect who you truly are. You've been tested. More than you realize. Every challenge you faced. Every obstacle that seemed unfair. Every moment when you felt like giving up. Those were not meant to break you. They were meant to reveal you. To show you your strength. To show you your resilience. To show you that even when everything feels uncertain, you still keep going. And that is why the shift is happening now. Because you didn't quit. Even when it was hard. Even when it felt pointless. Even when no one was watching. No one was supporting. No one was understanding. You still kept moving. And that kind of perseverance. That kind of quiet strength. It never goes unnoticed. Now the energy is changing. The things that once blocked you will begin to move. The opportunities that once felt out of reach will start to appear. The clarity you've been searching for will begin to unfold. But you must be ready to receive it. Because here is something most people never understand. When your destiny begins to shift, it often feels like chaos before clarity. Things might fall apart. Plans might change suddenly. People might leave unexpectedly. Situations might force you out of your comfort zone. And in those moments, it's easy to think everything is going wrong. But what if everything is going right? What if what's falling apart is exactly what needed to fall apart? To make space for what's truly meant for you. Check the time again. This is not the moment to panic. This is the moment to trust. To trust that even when you cannot see the full picture, something greater is guiding you. To trust that even when the path is unclear, you are being led exactly where you need to be. To trust that even when things don't make sense, they are still working in your favor. Because your destiny is not something you chase. It's something you align with. And alignment requires courage. The courage to let go. The courage to move forward. The courage to believe in something bigger than your current reality. You are closer than you think. Closer to the breakthrough. Closer to the opportunity. Closer to the life you've been hoping for. But here's the final truth. The shift won't wait forever. Opportunities come. And they go. Moments appear. And they pass. And the difference between those who step into their destiny and those who remain where they are is one thing: action. When the moment comes, will you be ready? Will you trust yourself enough to step forward? Will you believe enough to take the risk? Will you let go of fear, doubt, hesitation, and finally move? Because the time is now. Not later. Not someday. Now. Check the time. And this time, don't just look at the clock. Look at your life. Because everything is about to change, and even now. As you continue listening, something deeper inside you is beginning to shift in a way you can't fully explain, because this is not just about words anymore. This is about awakening. This is about recognition. This is about that moment when your soul finally stops resisting what it has always known deep down, that you were never meant to stay where you are. You were never meant to live a small life. You were never meant to keep repeating the same painful cycles. And yet somehow you found yourself stuck in patterns that felt impossible to break, stuck in situations that drained your energy, stuck around people who couldn't see your true worth, and over time, it started to affect how you see yourself. It made you question your value, your purpose, your direction. But here's what you didn't realize back then. Those very struggles were carving something inside you. They were shaping a version of you that is now strong enough, aware enough, and ready enough to handle the shift that is unfolding right now. Because destiny doesn't arrive when you demand it, it arrives when you are prepared for it, and preparation often looks like isolation, like confusion, like delay, like rejection, like silence. It looks like those nights when you questioned everything, when you felt like nothing was working, when you wondered if you were on the wrong path, but in reality, you were being pulled away from what was not aligned so you could be positioned exactly where you need to be. And that's why this moment feels different. That's why there is a strange intensity in your chest, a quiet urgency in your thoughts, a sense that something is about to happen even if you can't define it yet. Because your spirit recognizes what your mind is still trying to understand, and the truth is, you are stepping into a new timeline, a new version of your life where things begin to align in ways that once felt impossible. But before that alignment becomes visible, there is always a phase where everything feels uncertain, where nothing seems stable, where you are asked to walk forward without clear evidence. And this is where most people fail. They need guarantees, they need proof, they need certainty before they move. But destiny doesn't work like that. It requires faith before results. It requires movement before clarity, it requires belief before evidence, and right now, you are being called to trust at a level you've never trusted before, to move at a level you've never moved before, to let go at a level you've never let go before, because the life that is coming cannot be entered with the same mindset that kept you stuck in the past. You cannot carry old fears into a new destiny. You cannot hold on to past pain and expect a different future. You cannot stay attached to people who were only meant for a season and expect to step into something permanent, and that's why things have been falling away, that's why certain connections have faded, that's why certain doors have closed without explanation. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation, it wasn't loss, it was redirection, and now you are standing at the edge of something new, something unfamiliar, something that might feel uncomfortable but is deeply aligned with who you are becoming, and in this moment, you have a choice. You can either go back to what feels safe, what feels known, what feels predictable, or you can step forward into what feels uncertain but holds the key to everything you've been asking for, and deep down, you already know the answer. You didn't come this far just to stay the same, you didn't go through all that pain just to return to the same patterns, you didn't survive all those challenges just to settle for less than what you deserve. No, there is a reason you're still here, there is a reason you kept going even when it was hard, there is a reason you didn't give up when everything told you to quit. Because your story is not over, your breakthrough is not behind you, it is in front of you, and this shift, this moment, this exact time, is the turning point. This is where things begin to change, this is where the energy starts to move in your favor, this is where doors that once felt locked begin to open, but only if you are willing to walk through them, only if you are willing to leave behind what no longer serves you, only if you are willing to trust that what's ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. And yes, it may feel scary, yes, it may feel uncertain, but growth always does, transformation always demands discomfort, and destiny always requires courage. So don't ignore this feeling, don't brush it off as nothing, don't go back to sleep when your life is trying to wake you up, because moments like this don't come often, moments where everything aligns in a way that can change your entire direction, moments where one decision can shift your entire future, and you are in that moment right now, whether you realize it or not. The clock is ticking, the energy is moving, the shift has already begun, and the only question that remains is, will you move with it, or will you watch it pass you by? Because your destiny is not waiting for you to feel ready, it's waiting for you to say yes, to step forward, to trust the process, to embrace the unknown, and to finally become the person you were always meant to be. So check the time again. Not just on your device, but within yourself. Because something has already changed, and nothing will ever be the same again. And now, this is the part most people never reach. This is the moment where everything you've been through begins to make sense, not all at once, not in a perfect, clear picture, but in fragments, in realizations, in quiet understandings that hit you when you least expect them. Because the truth is, your destiny was never lost, it was never delayed in the way you thought, it was simply waiting for you to become the version of yourself who could actually sustain it. Because what you are about to step into is not temporary, it is not fragile, it is not something that will disappear the moment things get difficult, it is something solid, something aligned, something built on the strength you didn't even know you were developing during your hardest moments, and that's why those moments had to happen, that's why the waiting was necessary, that's why the confusion, the loneliness, the setbacks, the unanswered questions, all of it had a purpose far greater than what you could see at the time. Because if everything had come easily, if everything had worked out exactly when you wanted it to, you would not have grown into the person who is now ready to handle what is coming. You would not have developed the awareness, the patience, the resilience, the clarity that you now carry within you, and without those things, the very blessings you were asking for could have become burdens, the very opportunities you were praying for could have overwhelmed you, the very life you dreamed of could have slipped through your hands, but now you are different, now you see things differently, now you feel things differently. Now you understand things at a deeper level, and that is why the shift is not just external, it is internal. It is a complete transformation of how you think, how you move, how you respond, how you choose, because your external world will always reflect your internal state, and as your inner world changes, your outer reality has no choice but to follow, and this is where everything begins to accelerate. This is where you start noticing synchronicities, moments that feel too precise to be random, conversations that come at exactly the right time, opportunities that appear when you least expect them, ideas that suddenly feel clear and actionable, and it may feel almost surreal, like things are finally starting to flow after such a long period of resistance. But that's exactly how alignment feels. It feels like doors opening without force, like paths clearing without struggle, like answers arriving without confusion. And yet, even in this phase, there will be moments of doubt, there will be moments where your old self tries to pull you back, tries to remind you of past failures, tries to convince you that this is too good to be true, that you should slow down, that you should not trust it. And this is the final test. This is where you prove to yourself that you are no longer the person you used to be. This is where you choose growth over fear, faith over doubt, action over hesitation, because if you allow your past to control your present, you will recreate the same future, but if you stand firm in who you are becoming, nothing from your past can stop what is already in motion. And that's the truth you need to hold on to right now, that what is meant for you cannot be stopped by what you used to be, it can only be delayed by what you choose to believe now. So choose wisely, choose to believe that you are ready, choose to believe that you are capable, choose to believe that everything you went through was not in vain, because it wasn't, it was building this exact moment, this exact shift, this exact turning point in your life. And now, as you stand here, aware, present, feeling this energy, sensing this change, you are being asked one final thing. To commit, not halfway, not with hesitation, not with doubt in the back of your mind, but fully, completely, unapologetically, to the path that is opening in front of you, because partial commitment creates partial results, but full commitment creates transformation. And you didn't come this far for small changes, you didn't endure everything you endured just to stay comfortable, you are here for something bigger, something greater, something that requires you to step fully into your power, and that means leaving behind excuses, leaving behind fear, leaving behind the need for approval, leaving behind anything that keeps you playing small, because the version of you that is stepping into this new destiny does not ask for permission, does not wait for validation, does not hesitate when the moment calls. That version of you moves with certainty, speaks with clarity, acts with confidence, not because everything is guaranteed, but because they trust themselves enough to handle whatever comes next. And that is the energy you are stepping into right now, that is the identity you are beginning to embody, and once you fully step into it, there is no going back, because you will see things you can't unsee, you will understand things you can't unlearn, you will feel a level of awareness that makes your old life impossible to return to. And that's when everything truly changes, not just around you, but within you. Permanently, And from that place, your decisions become different, your standards become higher, your actions become more intentional, and your results begin to reflect the power you've finally claimed within yourself. So as you hear this, as you feel this, as you recognize that something is undeniably shifting in your life right now, don't ignore it, don't question it into silence, don't let fear talk you out of what your soul already knows. This is your moment, this is your shift, this is the beginning of everything you've been waiting for, and all you have to do is step forward and meet it. And this is where it all comes together. This is the moment where everything you once questioned begins to settle into a quiet certainty, not because you suddenly have all the answers, but because you no longer need them in the way you once did, because now you understand something deeper, something most people spend their entire lives chasing but never fully grasp, that your destiny was never something outside of you waiting to be found. It was always something within you waiting to be claimed, and all the delays, all the pain, all the confusion, all the moments where you felt lost, they were never leading you away from your path, they were leading you deeper into it, shaping you, refining you, stripping away everything that was never truly you so that when this moment arrived, you would not just recognize it. You would be ready for it, and now you are here, not by accident, not by coincidence, but by alignment, by growth, by every decision you made to keep going even when it was hard, even when it didn't make sense, even when you couldn't see where it was all leading, and that is what makes this moment so powerful, because it is earned, not given, it is built, not borrowed. It is yours in a way that no one can take from you. And as this realization settles in, you begin to feel something different. Something steady, something grounded, a quiet confidence that doesn't need to prove itself to anyone, a clarity that doesn't require constant reassurance, a sense of direction that no longer depends on external validation, and this is the true shift. Not just in circumstances, but in identity, because once your identity changes, everything else follows, your choices change, your environment changes, your relationships change, your opportunities change, your entire reality begins to reorganize itself around the person you have become, and this is why this moment matters so much, because it is not just a temporary feeling, it is a permanent turning point, a line you cross where you no longer see yourself the same way, where you no longer accept the same limitations, where you no longer tolerate the same patterns that once kept you stuck, and from here, there is only forward, only growth, only expansion into everything you are meant to be, and yes, there will still be challenges. There will still be moments that test you, but they will not break you the way they once did, because now you know who you are, now you know what you're capable of, now you know that even when things get difficult, you have the strength, the awareness, the resilience to move through it, not as the person you used to be, but as the person you have become, and that changes everything, because you are no longer reacting to life, you are creating it. You are no longer waiting for permission, you are taking ownership, you are no longer hoping for change, you are embodying it, and that is what makes your destiny unstoppable at this point, because it is no longer something separate from you, it is something you are actively stepping into with every thought, every action, every decision you make from here on forward, and as you stand in this realization, there is one final thing you must understand, something simple yet powerful, something that will define everything that happens next, that this moment, this exact moment right now, is not just the beginning of your next chapter, it is the closing of everything that no longer belongs in your life, the final release of the past, the final detachment from who you used to be, the final step into a version of yourself that is fully aligned, fully aware, fully ready to receive and create what is meant for you, and that means there is no going back, no second guessing, no shrinking yourself to fit into spaces you have outgrown, no holding on to people, habits, or beliefs that no longer match your future. Because you have crossed a line within yourself that cannot be uncrossed, you have seen a truth that cannot be unseen, you have felt a shift that cannot be reversed, and from this point on, everything you do carries a different energy, a different intention, a different level of purpose, and that is how your destiny unfolds, not in one giant moment, but in a series of aligned choices, in a continuous commitment to who you are becoming, in a daily decision to move forward no matter what, and as you take that final step. As you fully embrace this shift, there is something you need to do right now. Something simple yet incredibly powerful. Check the time one last time, not out of habit, not out of curiosity, but as a symbol, as a confirmation, as a reminder that this moment is real, that this shift is happening, that your life is changing right now, and as you look at that time, whatever it is, understand this. You will remember it, you will come back to this moment in the future and realize that this was the turning point, this was when everything started to move, this was when you finally stopped doubting, stopped hesitating, stopped holding back, and stepped fully into your destiny, and from that moment on, nothing was ever the same again.